Do you ever feel like you have these huge, world-changing dreams, but when it comes to actually doing the work, you'd rather just scroll through your phone or binge-watch another series? You're ambitious, you know you have potential, but you're also, well, lazy. If that sounds like you, then stick around, because this story might just be the wake-up call you need. It's about a man named Kale, who lived in a small village nestled by a massive, unconquered mountain. Everyone in the village dreamed of reaching the summit, a place said to hold a treasure of immense wisdom. Kale was the most ambitious of them all. He'd spend his evenings telling everyone who would listen about his grand plans. He'd describe the innovative gear he would invent, the optimal route he'd map out, and how he'd be the first to ever reach the top. His friends would listen, impressed by his vision and his passion. But here's the thing about Kale. When morning came and the first light hit the mountain, he'd find excuses. "The wind is too strong today," he'd say. Or, "I need to perfect my climbing shoe design first." Or my personal favorite, "I'm just not feeling inspired." His days were spent in the comfort of his workshop, sketching intricate plans and dreaming about the glory, but never actually taking a single step towards the mountain base. He was a master of planning, a genius of preparation, but a novice at starting. Meanwhile, there was another person in the village, a quiet woman named Ilara. Ilara didn't talk much about her ambitions. She didn't have grand blueprints or revolutionary gear. In fact, she had a simple, almost worn-out pair of boots and a small, sturdy backpack. While Kale was busy talking, Ilara was busy walking. Every single morning, rain or shine, she would walk to the base of the mountain. Some days, she'd only manage to climb for an hour before turning back. Other days, she'd find a new handhold or a slightly safer path. Her progress was slow, almost invisible to the naked eye. The villagers, including Kale, barely noticed her efforts. They were too captivated by Kale's brilliant yet theoretical plans. They'd see Ilara return, covered in dirt and tired, and think, "What's the point? She's getting nowhere." Kyle even offered her some advice. He'd say, "Ilara, you're wasting your energy. You need a proper plan. You should wait for the perfect conditions just like me." Ilara would just smile, nod politely, and the next morning, she'd be back on the mountain. Her secret wasn't some hidden talent or superhuman strength. It was a simple, boring, and incredibly powerful rule. Show up. She didn't wait for motivation. She didn't wait for inspiration. She didn't wait for the perfect day or the perfect gear. She just showed up and did a little bit. That's it. Her ambition wasn't a loud declaration. It was a quiet, daily action. Months turned into a year. Kyle's workshop was now filled with incredible designs, maps, and prototypes for gear that could, in theory, conquer any mountain. He had become the village expert on mountain climbing without ever having climbed. He could tell you the geological composition of the rocks, the migratory patterns of the birds, the ideal caloric intake for a climber. He had all the knowledge. Then one day, a commotion erupted in the village square. Someone shouted from the watchtower, pointing towards the mountain. Everyone looked up, and there, standing on the summit, was a tiny figure waving a small flag. It was Ilara. A wave of shock, followed by stunned silence, fell over the village. It wasn't possible. How could she, with her simple methods and quiet determination, succeed where the brilliant Kyle hadn't even started? Kale himself stood frozen, his grand plans and blueprints suddenly feeling like stacks of useless paper. He had been so busy preparing for the journey that he forgot the first rule of any journey. You have to take the first step. Ilara didn't beat the mountain in one heroic, glorious climb. She beat it one small, boring, consistent step at a time. She understood a fundamental truth that Kale missed. Action is the food that feeds ambition. Without it, ambition starves to death. So, let's bring this back to you. You have that mountain. Maybe it's starting a business, writing a book, getting fit, or learning a new skill. You've probably spent hours, maybe even years, planning it out. You've watched all the YouTube videos, read all the blogs, bought all the courses. You have the perfect plan. You're just like Kale, waiting for the perfect moment. But Ilara's story teaches us that the perfect moment is a myth. Inspiration isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. Motivation doesn't just show up at your door. You find it a few minutes into the work. The lazy part of you isn't a character flaw. It's often just a fear of not being perfect. A fear of starting something and not being immediately great at it. It's the voice that says, wait until you know more. Wait until you feel ready. Ilara didn't listen to that voice. She accepted that her first few steps would be clumsy. She accepted that most days would feel unproductive, but she knew that 100 small, imperfect steps will always take you further than 0 perfect steps. So, what's your one small step for today? You don't need to conquer your whole mountain by sunset. Can you just put on your hiking boots and walk to the base? If you want to write a book, can you just write one single paragraph? Not a chapter, not a page. One paragraph. If you want to get fit, can you do 5 minutes of exercise? Not an hour, just 5 minutes. The goal is to be like Ilara. Make your ambition about the verb, not the noun. It's not about being a writer. It's about the act of writing. It's not about being a climber. It's about the act of climbing. Shift your focus from the glorious outcome to the mundane, repeatable process. Stop waiting for a lightning bolt of motivation. It's not coming. What you need is discipline. And discipline is just a muscle. The more you use it for small things, the stronger it gets for big things. Each tiny action you take builds evidence that you are the kind of person who follows through. You are building trust with yourself. Kale's story is a tragedy of potential. He had all the ambition in the world, but it was locked in a cage of inaction. Ilara's story is a triumph of process. Her ambition was a quiet fire, fed daily by the small logs of her actions. So, I ask you again, are you ambitious but lazy? Or are you just a Kale who hasn't decided to be an Ilara yet? The choice is yours, and it starts not tomorrow, not when you feel like it, but right now, with one ridiculously small step. Take it. The view from the top is worth it. Thanks so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content to help you on your journey. Let me know in the comments what small step you're going to take today. I'll see you in the next one.